Welcome to our interactive book video by Tara, Asma, Kershani, and Beth. Today we will discuss rationale and goals of our book, learning outcome connections, design process, tour of our book, target audience, theory connected to learning, and references. The rationale and goals of our interactive book. It fills a gap in learning that is done in a non-traditional way by using technology and fairy tales to teach literacy, specifically letter recognition, sound, and spelling. It allows students to engage with characters from the book, to play games, and learn letter recognition, sounds, and words. In addition, some videos from YouTube were added for further clarification for learners in the younger age group. Our book also helps them to retain knowledge because it is fun and presented in a creative way by adding simple activities like word recognition. Overall, we incorporated different interactivities and elements to fit the needs of learners in kindergarten to grade 2.
Learning outcomes. Learning outcome number 1. In our book, we meet this learning component by using harmony. All components are placed to give the viewer a sense that the pictures and words form the whole page together and are in unity with each other. Our group also emphasized the interactive elements by having brighter colors, with some components moved to draw the learner's attention. We also used repetition in our aspect that allows the learners to listen to the story by using the same button image for each page, allowing them to know this will play the recording. We also used a darker color, which can be related to the value of it. We did this so that the blue text, which is large and has a serif font, is easier for learners to read. In our drawings, Harry Nelson, the illustrator, gave them a 3D look, which helps the texture of our pictures seem real to our learners. Learning outcome number 2. Our group has links to questions for learners to answer and a board game at the end of our book to test their knowledge. We place voiceovers on all our pages and ask questions, including some videos, and questions about letters and word matching. Characters and word fade in and out of the pages to help readers connect the two, which relates to Meyer's temporal contiguity principle.
Learning outcome number 4. So we created a digital Snow White book using Genially. We added clickable icons for audio narration on every page. We included links to interactive games such as fill in the blanks, true or false, ordering sentences, etc. With immediate feedback, we provided links to YouTube videos for extra learning on letters and vowels.
In Learning Outcome 5, our focus of the platform we will be doing for our interactive book is Genially. In Genially, it incorporates voiceovers, interactive features such as creating questions, true and false, surveys, and other interactive elements. Also, Genially supports student engagement as well as diverse needs to support their learning. In Learning Outcome 7, students will incorporate accessible and inclusive design using voiceover, accessible colors, and closed captions. We use voiceover to read the story and checked colors using coolers for accessibility and readability. Also, it integrates not just accessibility, but also inclusive design, which focuses on designing for diverse needs, including students with special needs. Both learning outcomes align with the Universal Design for Learning, which relates to three areas: multiple means of representation, engagement, and expression. In this case, with all the elements such as auditory, visual, and text, it is important, especially for educators, to provide students with learning needs, especially students with visual and hearing impairments. This can also align with Week 6 content, Designing with Intent, which highlights different areas by understanding accessible design, which creating presentations, figuring out what are appropriate design choices such as color, font, closed captions, and other areas to improve accessibility, especially digital presentations. Also, compatibility should be implemented using accessibility tools such as closed captioning and screen reading in creating digital content to ensure all learners can engage with educational materials.
Learning outcome number 6. Referring to the design process for this outcome, Harry Nelson did illustrations for this book, narrowed down an age group to kindergarten to grade 2 for comprehension reasons, simple design of pictures that connect to sentences and words, and we used some suggestions from a test group to improve this Genially interactive book.
Design process. Empathize. We considered age group and interests, the reading levels of the age group, whether long or short story would keep them engaged, what type of pictures we should use, the type of activities that our learners would understand and be interested in, and the need for simple pictures and words to connect those pictures. Define. We used a simple story and focused on literacy. We decided to use interactive materials like matching games, word search, and letter recognition. Our group decided on illustrations instead of cartoons or AI-generated images. Ideate. We started with a long story of Snow White and then transitioned to a short one. After we looked up other ideas that were used, one sentence. This was too short, so we did 2 to 3 sentences a page. Then looked at ways to draw it and other electronic pictures, but a group member had a friend willing to help, and he drew the pictures we needed. Design process continued. Prototype. We first started with pictures and a long story of Snow White. We then made it simple, tested out different animations, where the characters come in and the words come in. We looked at interactivities to ensure they worked in the present mode, and all questions were appropriate for learners. We added illustrations instead of cartoon pictures. Test. We tested on a group of children aged 5 to 7. The children were part of an after-school program. We asked children specific questions around interactivity and what they enjoyed and what they would change. Some considerations: improvements. Need to add students being able to do the question more than once. I had a bit of a hard time moving the letters from the words, but it could have been an internet connection. We're not too interested in the videos and said it was for kindergarten children. Positive comments. Children enjoyed the board game at the end and played it several times, enjoyed the interactive parts, and worked together to do it. One said it would be good for grade 1s. Another one said, I like the board game, it's fun. And one said, I like it, but to make it better, it could be Sleeping Beauty. Tour of our book. Here are some pages of our book, and they show some of the illustrations, and one is one of the interactivities that we use for students to fill in the blanks. Here are some more pages from our book. One is of an illustration, and the other 2 show multiple choice questions of how students can interact with the book to learn their letters and letter recognition. Here are the last pages of our book. One is of the board game, which is an accumulative assessment of their knowledge and in a fun and interactive way. The other is a word search. At the bottom is a link to our book if you would like to take a tour of your own.
Our target audience is kindergarten to grade 2. We focused on aspects of the grade 1 literacy curriculum because it is between the 2 age groups, T states. In the grade 1 Ontario curriculum, C1.1 curriculum, which is in between both age groups, it states under digital media literacy that students should be able to read and comprehend short, simple texts using knowledge of words, grammar, cohesive ties, sentence structures, and background knowledge. C1.4 states that students should be able to demonstrate an understanding of the relationship between simple illustrations, images, and graphics and the text. In our interactive book, these critical thinking skills are used and are necessary for understanding the activities.
Theory connection. The learning components of our book are related to cognitive load theory because we ask the learners questions about literacy and then do a cumulative game at the end where they need to retain the information. This, according to Can, Jamel, and Sethi, is a concept of recalling previous knowledge at the completion of a topic, summarizing the whole content, or preparing for assessment encourages learners to recall previous contents. This is on page 586. Our board game also relates to this theory because it uses previous questions for the interactivities on our book pages, allowing learners to retain more information. This is also from the same article on page 586. In addition, some of the activities use images to reinforce learning, and according to cognitive load theory, this aids learners in grasping the concepts that need to be learned. Here are references. Thank you for watching.